everyone, Belle here. I'm actually going to be bringing you the first edition of the PDQ's Azeroth Zone Throwback Thursday. This video, we're actually going to go through Grizzly Hills. Now, some of you might be saying, well, this is horseshit. I've already seen Grizzly Hills. That's totally fine. It's cool that you've already seen it. The purpose of these videos is for those that kind of what happens from expansion to expansion is we kind of forget how beautiful the previous maps were, the previous zones that were created from the different expansions, and we kind of just forget to go back and kind of enjoy the beauty. So the purpose of these is nostalgia purposes, to get you to fall in love with the different maps all over again while we're waiting for Legion to come out, and to highlight for those that are new. Maybe you didn't quest in certain areas, maybe you power leveled because a friend brought you to World of Warcraft and you didn't really get a chance to kind of just dive in and really enjoy what was happening. So Grizzly Hills is actually one of my favorite, it's one of my favorite spots in the game. Outside of Storm Peaks. Storm Peaks is my absolute favorite map, which we'll actually cover that in another video. So here we are, Amber Pine Lodge. Now, it's southeastern. Grizzly Hills is in between Zoldrack and Howling Fjord. Lumberjack land in the sense of pine forests, logging encampments, those kind of things. This was introduced in Wrath of the Lich King, and it, as was all of Northrend, of course. It is a level 73 to 75 map. Pet levels 21 to 22 if you're looking to level pets the good old-fashioned way and you want to come over here to level. You can probably see Lycan here from time to time pet leveling and doing his thing. So a few things to note here. The people indigenous to this land specifically is going to be Darkthuron Keep, houses the they house the Drakakari ice trolls. Thormodon, which is going to be right here, which we're actually going to go to these areas. They have the dwarves, and majority of the area houses the Grizzlemaw Furblogs. Now, the thing to remember that's kind of interesting about this zone is the Furblogs believe that they were here first. Not really the case. The ice trolls believe they were here first. That's not really the case. It's actually been said that the dwarves were placed in Thormodon and they were actually here first. It was actually said that the old god, the Titans, had placed them here to see if they would be able to survive. Don't really know if that's 100% accurate, but according to my research and my reading to find more information on this, that's pretty much what I had read. So ultimately, with the ice trolls, they kind of want their land, and the Furblogs think it should be ours. Now, there's a lot of parts here where the Furblogs are actually driven insane, and the reason that is one of the old gods had came and corrupted them. So you do run into quite a few of those here. So starting quests. Main purpose for being here is you come here to investigate Argul, which is the leader of the Worgen army, and he's resurrected. You come to investigate the Worgen curse and to escort Harrison Jones through this land. So one of my favorite spots here actually is it's going to be in the middle of the map, and that's actually where we're going to start our nice little tour. But I do want to make mention of some things, some of the reasons I really enjoy World of Warcraft in general, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably all share this with me. That Verandant spear above my eye is really super annoying. I'm actually going to take that quest off because that is super. I'm gonna take that glyph off because that's really annoying actually. So let me ditch it. Okay, boom, no Verandant spear. Okay. So one of the things that I enjoy is all around here you will find hunters, and with these hunters they have these wonderful little elks. It's really sad, stags that they're killing and chopping up into little tiny pieces. So when you come here, not sure if it's different for Alliance or for Horde, but I know Alliance, you come here, pick up all these quests, do all these things here. Part of your questing journey, as we had talked about earlier, is coming through with Harrison Jones and escorting him, developing more information on investigating the Worgen curse and things of that nature. So something really important to note here, we're actually going to go to the center, which is Grizzlemaw. Now the reason we're going to go to Grizzlemaw is 1,000 years ago the druids had planted this beautiful, great world tree. And the tree is called Vordrassel. I apologize if I'm chopping it up. Those of you that know me from the show know that this is just, it just is what it is. So, and basically this was their attempt at trying to create the world tree. So what happens once it was fully grown, it got destroyed, and having discovered that it was tainted. So basically the Furblogs had moved into the stump that was left and built their city, which is Grizzlemaw. Now when it did fall to the earth after it was killed, several parts kind of spread out all in various western central portions of Grizzly Hills. They're pretty much in the ground. You're going to see these foul oozes and all this other stuff that we're actually going to get to right now. So that's actually the reason I want to take you there, is because that's kind of the center of what Grizzly Hills is. And okay, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to highlight Grizzlemaw, because that's pretty much the center of Grizzly Hills. As you can see, what they had talked about is there is parts of the tree here. This is one of the parts of the tree. If you actually go down inside, it actually festers. There's like oozes that come out of there, all kinds of really unsavory grossness. To be fair, that's not really a hole I really want to go into. It just doesn't look very appealing to me. So take that for whatever it's worth. That could be what he said. It's whatever. But yeah, that's quite gross. I'm not interested in that. So here is what I am interested in. This is Grizzlemaw, and this big, beautiful tree is where the Furblogs live. Now, this is my favorite part in the map. And the reason this is my favorite part in the map, not just because it was an old druid tree, but because the little Furblog houses. I know some of you guys are like, seriously, Belle, can you please be a grown-up? But this is adorable. Little teeny tiny bear houses. It's adorable. I think it's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I like being all the way down here at the bottom. My favorite is to bring friends of mine that haven't seen this before and just kind of show them and hang out with them, and they're completely awe-inspired just by the way that it looks. And as you can see, all the pretty little fireflies, if that's even what those are. But this is Grizzlemaw. And the Furblogs, some of them are insane, so it's not really a pleasant place, but I imagine that the three bears are in there trying to ask for their porridge. So we had talked a little bit earlier about Thormodon. So Thormodon, that's where the dwarves are. It was stated that the Titans brought the dwarves here because they wanted to see if they could survive. Supposedly they were the first people here, not necessarily the Furblogs, which essentially take over the entire map, and the ice trolls, who are fighting desperately at Draktheron Keep to try to come in and wreck all of the things. So here is Thormodon. This is where the dwarves are. Ugly if you ask me. Yes, dwarf hate, whatever you want to call it. So here's where the dwarves are. There's quests here, and nice little lay of the land through the areas. And it's pretty beautiful here. Here's one of the encampments if you're Alliance, and if you're not Alliance and if you've never seen this, because there was always a fight here. Pretty legit little tents. Pretty sure there's a Horde equivalent. I don't plan on visiting that because I try to stay away from Horde, even though I'm not on a PvP server. I just like to respect Horde and their things. So one of the things I do want to show you, which, yay, I'm really super stoked that they're here. Here I go RP walking. I promise it's not what you guys think. So here we have the running of the horses. This is one of my favorite parts of this little spot on the map. The reason I love this is because you can get down here and run with this whole little herd of horses. Now, the thing to understand about these horses is they do loop around in a circle. You will often find stray horses about this little part. As you see, there's a stray horse there. I absolutely love this. It's kind of my version of running with the bulls. I like to just get on my warlock horse and do the damn thing. So yeah, that's my second favorite part of this map, is the running of the horses. I just think it's beautiful, and I thought it was a really neat thing for Blizzard to highlight and for Blizzard to put in here. So before we hightail it on to Drak'Tharon Keep and talk about that instance and what its purpose was, let's go to the other interesting thing to note here. Most people don't know that there is a log ride. I know that World of Warcraft website did recently. They did recently post some stuff about the logging, about the log ride. Now, while we're talking about Drak'Tharon Keep, it's important to understand that Drak'Tharon actually connects Zul'Drak and Grizzly Hills. It's one of those cool instances where as soon as you pass over it on the other side, it actually connects it. But this is the entrance, which I've never actually been through here, but this does take you to Zul'Drak. I don't think I've ever been this way. I probably would have completely skipped parts of Zul'Drak anyway. I don't even recall being in that area. Yeah, I actually don't recall being in that area at all. So here is the place to note. The Blue Sky Logging Grounds. Blue Sky Logging Grounds, this is going to be where the fun and magic happens. So if you see this beautiful little spot here, there's actually a log ride here. Most people didn't know that it was here, but it does reside. So if you come down here, you're going to see this nice little troll. This is Gordoon. This nice little troll. Let's just scroll in so you guys can check him out. Not troll, I'm sorry, dwarf. I don't know why I said troll. So this dwarf, he's a ginger dwarf, as it were. You're just going to click yes, I'm ready. You're actually going to travel down this awesome log ride. Now this log ride is going to take you all the way down to Venture Bay, which incidentally Venture Bay was one of the PvP zones that you had to try to keep that hold at the time when it was current. So this pretty cool log ride, which most of you have probably already seen the video that I made in a previous moment regarding just the log ride. We're just going to go all the way down. It takes you all the way to the bottom of Venture Bay. It's pretty cool to try to pretend like you're racing, even though you have absolutely no speed control or directional control whatsoever. So this will take us all the way down to the bottom of Venture Bay, and there's the marina and stuff that's out here, obviously along with the lighthouse and just some other really cool visual effects. One of the things that I do enjoy about Northrend specifically is their ability to be able to have a lot of forest areas and snow kind of intertwined within the map. I think that's another good compliment that Blizzard's able to do creatively with the maps. So it pops you down here, giant, where they're getting rid of the giant tree cutter downer, whatever you want to call them. I'm not a lumberjack, so I really would not know that information. So once you pop back down up here, you can go through some more areas up here. I'm actually going to take you guys over to the outside of Drak'Tharon Keep so that you can check that out. So basically the idea behind Drak'Tharon Keep is it's actually level 74, 76 instance. And basically it's the Ice Trolls fortress. So the Ice Trolls, they want to take over the land, and they're going to try to kill all the Furbolgs because they think they were here first and they should be the boss. Well, that sounds like a solid idea, but we thwart that as we normally do, because you know we are the heroes here. This is one of my favorite things. I love that I see the trees built in the ground. Great attention to detail. If I was a lumberjack, I would imagine I would live somewhere similar to this area, maybe not among the wolves, but yeah, I would definitely probably live here because it's really nice. Kind of sad when you see there's a lot of open parts where they're kind of highlighting how the loggers came in and kind of tore everything down. It's actually quite sad because other parts are really, really full of forest areas. So here we get into the beginning of the entrance of this instance. Pretty cool ruins here, though, I think. I'm not really into all that kind of stuff, but I guess that's the way of the troll. So, here is your instance. This actually, I didn't run this, obviously, with any, I don't think I ran this with any kind of current content, and I actually don't think, I might not have ever been in this instance. Maybe I have with friends, not 100% sure. But yeah, this is where you would enter, and it's a pretty cool instance. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, you should go through and check it out on your own just to see, just to kind of see what's going on in there. Most people, I don't think I've ever hear them be like, oh, I'm gonna go run this instance. It's not one of those weekly farmed instances. Maybe you might go there for a transmog. Nothing I would wear, of course, because, you know, I'm a warlock. I don't belong in those parts. So that's the basis of all my favorite parts in Grizzly Hills. I showed you guys a lot of really cool stuff. Gave you guys the majority of the lore. I'm not really the lore individual. That's pretty much Lycan's. That's Lycan and other guys on our other guys that do the writing, such as Frost Karen and Calvin, stuff like that. So I'm actually not gonna run in. Well, we'll fly over. So here's Horde. I'm not Horde, so I don't know anything about this situation, but if you guys were interested in seeing the Horde stuff, I don't normally look at those kind of things because it's just not my get down. Oh yeah, I guess I could take you over here. This is one of the things that I do like, is kind of the different buildings. I do appreciate the different kind of textural feels when it comes to some of the maps and buildings that they did. And they kind of did a lot of different color, like different building style variations on one map. Because you have the dwarves on one side, and then you have the fur blogs, and then you have the entrance to the trolls. Everything's kind of funny how literally like a street separates the differences. So down here, this is actually a cool little thing, and this is another reason why I really, really enjoy going back and looking at maps that either I forgot about, is little stuff like this. Really creepy, random little coffins. I don't know if they're people coffins, animal coffins, I'm not really sure what goes on here. But I feel like these are maybe old hunters, trappers, I'm not really sure. I guess I could have probably looked that up, but these are just one of those things where it's additional visuals just for you to kind of enjoy it. So, beautiful map. If you haven't had the chance to revisit this in a while, I highly recommend you guys check it out. If you've been here and you're not a fan of Lincoln Logs, well, we'll have plenty more Azeroth Zone Throwback Thursday videos for you. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here because this video is entirely too long, actually way longer than I had anticipated it to be. Thank you for joining us for this episode, and there's going to be different zone throwback every Thursday, so make sure you check it out at pwnecastdailyquest.com. You guys take it easy.